Hi there, I'm Daniel, a software engineer with a passion for teaching others how to code. Welcome to my first course, where I'll be guiding you through the exciting world of Android development. In this course, we'll be covering everything you need to know to get started with building Android apps using Java and the MVim approach. From setting up your development environment to creating user interfaces to work with persistence data using Room, we'll cover it all. As someone who has been developing Android apps for years, I know firsthand the challenges that come with learning this skill. That's why I've designed this course to be easy to follow, in which we will be developing ETON, a note-taking app full of good practices to help you build your skill. Whether you're a complete beginner or an experienced developer looking to expand your skill set, this course is for you. So join me on this journey and let's get started building some amazing Android apps together. One of the key aspects of software development is gathering requirements to accurately define the deliverables and understand how much time and effort will you need. For this project, we will keep it simple. So, we will be making a note-taking app. What do we often expect from one? Write notes, be able to see them, to edit them, and to delete, probably more than one at once. Who will be the user? Let's take as example executives and add to our information gathering that one of the main struggles was taking notes at night because the phone is too bright and normally the background of the app is in a white intense color. After that feedback, designers propose an example of the results desired. They also provide us a color palette, so we are ready to start. Just a last note, we will be focusing on this tutorial in building this app in a MVim approach, which is we will start by the backend and progress to the front end. For the backend, we will use Room plugin, and then once we have the models and the data access object, we will iterate between layout, activity, adapters, and callbacks. So we will work the backend to have the building blocks of the data, then have a visual sense of the app and enable the passage of data and update of the views at real time, given specific states and interactions. Let's start.
So we will start by creating a new project, and we will start by choosing empty activity. So in here we can change the name. Let's say ETON. It's the name of the app. Here normally it's a company name. Let's say company. And the product is ETON, because we will be developing a note app, note-taking app. It will be in Java, and in order for this tutorial, for this course to be useful later on during this decade, let's say, we will use API 30, and there's some things that we need to be aware of. So the minimum SDK will be API 30. We actually will compile on 33, and I will provide any important tips on this matter. The first thing that we will look at is the Gradle file. So we have 33 compile SDK. Minimum SDK will be 30. Here are the configurations we already set up, and in here we will add dependencies as we go along. One key thing that we need to do already at this moment is to add this. Okay, this is already here, but we also need to add the Android enable Jettifier equal true. So this is important to have. We need to have the enable Jetifier because it enables the Jetifier tool, which is a part of the Android Studio, to automatically update the support libraries in terms of using Android X libraries equivalents. So we don't end up having conflicts in libraries that have the same name but are from packages totally different, and by the way, from libraries totally different. So we want to keep sure that we are using Android X. We can now start to focus on the model. For the model, it's a common good practice to have the code organized, the classes and so on. We will create a class, but we will put model first, dot, and then the name of the model. What this does is that it creates a package and then it creates the class. Now, as we were seeing, we need to do note text and private long note date. So these are the two attributes that we know for sure that we need. A string in which it will hold the note text and the note date. You may be wondering why there's a long there. Why not date or date time, for example? Using the long instead of date time, it has the benefit of precision because it stores in milliseconds, because it comes from Unix in that Unix epoch, in that perspective. And it's easier for compatibility. It's easier to pass that data by different programming languages to work it around. And in terms of performance, it's also good, and it's easier to store a date as a long value. It's a common practice in databases and file formats, so it can be very useful to maintain consistency across different parts of your code base. So, yeah. But taking that out of the way, another thing that we need, and we need to understand that this is a model. We will create a table based on this, a table that will be in the database. We need an ID. Other things that we can add as feature, I will just comment here to give some ideas of inspiration, is that we can have, for example, note category. Because, for example, the client, so we develop a first version with just these three, and the client wants categories, want to organize the content in categories. So we will have to add this as a feature and add this as an attribute for the node, and then work it on the main dashboard where will be displayed all the nodes. But we also can add, for example, private string node color, and for easier usage, we can let the user to attribute a color, like for importance, degree, or something like that. Yeah, it can be another functionality. Now, a thing that we really need is, it may not be so obvious, but as we are gathering the requirements, we can understand this, and we will put this, is checked. So what we mean by this? So thinking a bit ahead, we have a node. The node has an ID, has a note text, and a note date, where it was created, when it was created. Now, we need to think ahead and see that we are creating, we will update the node, but also we will delete. And as it will appear in a list, we probably want to delete several nodes at once. And this is the key point. Now, a big detail that we need to understand here, and for the constructor it will be important, is that this is not an attribute that we really want in the database. This is just an attribute for usability, not for storing real information, let's say, in the table, because we will not do nothing with if it is checked or not. I will create the constructors. I will come here, generate constructor, and now I will select the node text and the node date, just this. And we will need also a constructor with none of the arguments, with no arguments. So it's this. Now, this is the model, the basis. Now we want another thing from this. We want also, and follow me on this, to generate the getters and setters for all of them. Okay, and it generates all this code. And by the way, I'm going here, but you can do Alt Insert, but if I do it, you will not see and you will not understand it. So I go here, I go calmly, let's say. And here we have a toString, because this is a very common thing to do, because you can use this to make logs and see how the data is being passed, what is going on the backend, let's say. Now, this is all we need to do for the node as an entity. We will use a tool called room, and for that we need to come here and add here an entry, a room database, and it is implementation. Yeah. Annotation processor. Room compiler. Okay. Implementation. Android arc. Paging. Runtime. And test implementation for test cases. Arc persistence. Yeah, and that's it. Now, we need to do one thing, that is, in here, we can sync now, or in here, sync project with Gradle files. It's the same, it does the same. So the Gradle project is syncing in. And we can add some specific tags And if you have, for example, experience with Spring Boot, the same happens when you're defining entities, parts of the model that will create tables on the database. It follows the same philosophy, let's say, the same logic. Okay, we will call it nodes. And now for each one of this, we need to add also info. So here is the primary key, and it's auto-generated, so it will count autonomously. Column info, we can specify the name that we want. Node text. Here, column info, name, node date, and we would do the same for the others. But now, here is what I mentioned before. All of this goes to the database, but we don't need this attribute to go to the database. We don't want. In that case, we can do ignore, then it will not appear. But we will use it for the functionality to multiple selection of nodes. And for this part of the model is done, but we need to work on the database perspective. So how it connects, how it instantiates, how it works, that part. We will work on that. So we come here, we create a new class, and in here it will be db.nodesDB. As you see, you have db, nodesDB, and these will be an abstract class. And it will extend from room database. Okay, first thing we need to do is state that this is a database and the entities are in node.class, and this is a version 1. We need to import, and we can click Alt Enter, import class, and we'll ask what library we want. Here we need to call an abstract class that will be the data access object, and we will first add here saying that this is a database and the entities are a node class and version 1. Okay, so we create here the class, and it will be an interface called nodes DAO. Okay, we created the interface, but we have not implemented. We will. We'll just finish here the database, because we just need for one thing the nodes DAO. It's just to right here, abstract. So we insert here the name of the database, what happens is when it runs the application, it will see if the database exists, and if not, it will create this database. If it exists, it will get the instance when needed. We will see that later on. Okay, so here public okay, so here Alt Enter to import. If instance null, we can put here instance equal from dot database builder, pass the context, the NodesDB class, and the database name. We allow main thread queries, and we build. And we return the instance. And for the NodesDB, it's just that. Super clean, no much complication.
Extra information. This is not part of the code of the project. It's just an extra info that may be helpful. If you want to set up a room database with multiple entities, you can add each entity as a separate parameter to the database annotation. You'll also need to define a corresponding data access objects, DAO-U interface for each entity, and include each one in your database class. Note that each entity must have a corresponding entity annotation, and each DAO interface must have the corresponding CRUD methods for each entity. Plus, keep in mind that as you add more entities to your database, you may need to increase the version number of your database, which will trigger the respective migration.
We create an interface for our data access object to access the object. So what we want to do as functionalities that we will use in upper layers. So we want to insert note, and it will get a note. We will want to delete the note. We will want to update note, and we will receive again note. And we want some others, like we want to get all the nodes. So it's a list of nodes that we receive. Okay, and we want a node, get node by ID, in which we get the node ID, and we want to delete a node by ID. Node ID. Okay, so that is it. What we need to add here is the tags. Like there's specific text from room to understand that, okay, this is an insert, this is a delete, this is an update. And in here, if there is a conflict, on conflict, we can use an on-conflict strategy, which is replace. Exactly. Now the delete is just to say that is a delete. Here that is an update. But in here, in get notes, we need to do something different. We will do query in which we express the query that we really want. And this is very useful because when it comes to more complicated queries, and we don't want to work much around in upper levels, we can define it in here. For example, we will see here an example. This query, we want the nodes by an ID, a specific ID. So select all from nodes where ID is equal to node ID. Being node ID is a variable, okay? And we could change this for example, category. If we go back here, we could add node category and node color and do the same. But it's not like you don't need to do that, because when we get a list, we get all, and we can use Java streams, because we are using Java here. We can use Java streams and then filter from that, and even create predicates and so on. And here is delete from nodes where ID equal to node ID. Okay. And in terms of data access object is done. There's nothing more that we need to worry about. While that is syncing, I can go here and we will use the coordinator layout. Yeah. We will take this out, so we don't need this. We will need an app bar layout and the Android layout width. I could just copy from here. It's much easier, less work. And in here, we will wrap content. Okay. And in here, we will add a theme, but we need to do one thing before that. So in here, we have these themes. We will not use them. We will create in another way. So we can delete, bye. And in here, we will go to strings. Okay, we add styles, and in here And the parent is theme overlay, app combat, dark, action bar, and that's that. To add style, wait, nope, add style, add bar overlay. And in here we will want a toolbar that will have an ID, because we will use this ID in specific, and I don't know if still is on the clip, but we'll go this way. And the width is match parent, but in here we go to attributes, to action bar size, and in here we will use background. We will use a color, but before choosing here a color, we will define it in the color section. So if we go here, we have a set of colors that are here, but we already have ones because we picked the color palette, and I can add all the colors that I have here. They're already predefined. We can come here, we can get attribute and call color primary, and app. We need to have this theme also. App theme, pop-up overlay, parent, theme overlay, app combat light. So we can now change in here. I don't want his, but this. Okay. And in here we will want a floating action button that will have an ID. Plus ID. Nope, this will be fab, and we will call the Android layout with wrap content, Android layout height, wrap content. And just one thing. Okay, Android layout gravity, bottom, so it's here, and here with an Android margin, layout margin of 16 dp, so it's there. And the Android source it will be a drawable. Yeah, we can put that. You can see the image here, but we want a specific one, so we go to drawable and we go to a vector asset, and in here we want this button here. Okay, finish. Here we can change IC baseline at 24, and there's that. Now we need to add here one thing. We will do an include. We'll include a layout from add layout dash content main. And in here, what we do is inside of the layout, we will create content main. Yep, perfect. Here in the content main, we will use a relative layout, and it will be match parent app layout behavior equal and we will put this in string app bar scrolling view behavior. In order for this to work, we need to add XLNS. This should appear automatically, but sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Tools. Because the context here will be .main activity, and tools also show in at layout activity main. Yeah, and in here we will need the so called recycler view, in which the Android visibility will be gone at first because there's no nodes. There's no need to recycle the view because there's no nodes there, nothing, no data on the database. Nodes list, and in here I'm not writing all that, so better copy paste. And the text view. The text view will be Android ID empty nodes view, and in here Android layout width wrap content. wrap content. And now Android, we want the text to be centered in parent, so it will appear right in the center. True. Exactly. And now we want the text to be no notes yet. And the text size, so we can actually see something, we will put it 20 SP. We can see that there's here okay, add color primary. So there's one extra layout that we need to do. In here, we'll call it note layout. And linear layout, and the orientation will be horizontal. Match parent, wrap parent, wrap content. Here, clickable. We want to be able to click on each entry, because just to give a concept what we are building here. Okay, this is the point where in the dashboard we have a set of nodes in a list, and this is it. The first entry, the second entry, this is the node layout. Okay. So here, true, and Android focusable, true. We will have here a checkbox to select which we want to delete, and does the functionality that it doesn't need to be on the database. The check is checked, but that we need as an attribute to use it here for functionality purposes. Okay, so in here we'll start with the linear layout, and in this part is orientation is vertical. So we want to match in terms of width. We want wrap content. We want some margins. We want the margin start. That's it. And we want here the text view. Okay, Android layout margin equal 4 dp and Android max lines equal 3. Okay. The text size will be 18 SP. So this will be so if we see here, this is the linear layout, firstly horizontal, then vertical, and this is the first text view in which will be the content of the notes that we wrote. Now we want to add a date and add a line. Text view, Android ID equal okay, note date, Android layout with wrap content, Android layout height, wrap content, Android text size, so you see there will be the text, here be the date, and linear layout, 0.5 dp Android layout, margin top, and that's it. We will have a private recycler view. We'll have private release of node. We will have the nodes DAO. Also the nodes adapter. We will have the floating action button. We want also checked count, because we will show how many there are and how many are selected. That information will be displayed for the user. And in here, private shared preferences, settings. This will be used for the theme, if it is dark mode or light mode. We will have public static final theme key, theme, and public static final app preferences. Private int theme. Okay, and we need to import a lot of stuff. Import, node adapter. Here. Theme. String. And in here, context, mode private, we want here the theme, settings, get hint, theme key, or so in the styles there's not yet the app theme, but we can add it. It's based on the colors, so we already have this here. This, yeah, and so we just need to set theme as theme. So the manifest is here. Oh, okay, got it. I know why it was. So yeah. Okay, so we can run again. Okay, so one thing that I want to share is useful knowledge. Is that if we go here to drawable and we open it, we get this plus icon that is here, and we can change the call. In here we will call the toolbar, and we acquire the element by find view by ID, in which we call the ID in toolbar. Then we get set support action bar. No. Set support action bar toolbar, and we need here okay. Then we'll call the recycler view, find view by ID, RID notes list, and the recycler set layout manager. New linear layout manager. This. Okay, and we call the fab find view by ID or .id.fab. Set on click listener. Because what we want in here is that when we so the app is running, and when we click on the button, it will lead to another activity that we will create to actually write the node. So here, new view on click listener, and on add node, that we can create this, create a method in main activity. Okay, and in here we need to call the del get instance. This. What we need now is adapters that can pass the data from the low level, the data level, to the UI, to the views and so on. Typically they are used with views such as list views, grid views, or recycler views, and we will use here a recycler view to bind the data to the views and provide a way for the views to be able to update it when the data changes. Is to go here and add implementation of this library. Okay, we'll sync. Most of the apps have this side bar. So what we need to do is create a method here to set up the navigation part. Okay, and here we create a method, a list iDrawer item. Okay, and we will add 2 items. Add new primary drawer item. With name home, with icon drawable, and we need to create here new drawables. So home is here, next, finish. A note. Okay, and in here okay, so many things happening at the same time. I import this and I call the IC baseline home. Yeah. And I repeat such, but with a different name. And in here is note. Okay, so I draw item. Okay, with name dark theme, with checked theme equal r style dot app theme dark. And in here, we need to add the theme dark. That we already defined on the colors, the palette, but we need to attribute the colors for a theme. Okay. We need another uncheck change listener. No. That's after. We need here with icon. Drawable. Yeah. Finish. Dot. Exactly. And new on check change listener. If is checked, settings, edit, put int, theme key, our style, app, theme, dark, dot apply. Else. It's the same thing, but without this part. Okay, so what happens here is there will be a switcher in which we can change for dark theme or light theme, and it will have that icon, and when I when I press that change, the settings will change, which means that the theme that will be running will be another, so the colors will change. That's it. Here we need to hit this main activity, this recreate, because it may not apply immediately, so it's good to force the perspective. And builder create main activity, this. Add next, intent new, intent main activity this to main activity class. Add next intent get intent start activities, and that's it. Now in here you can stocky items, add new primary drawer item with name, settings, with icon R drawable .ic settings. It doesn't exist yet. We go here, vector asset. We already know this by this time, as so many times that we need to do. Okay, settings, it's here. Next, finish. Yeah. And stocky items. Switch drawer item, and that's it. Okay. Now this this sidebar has a section, a header section, in which we can have an icon for the user and a name and email. We will see how to implement that now. So with the account header, you can create new account header, builder with activity, with activity this, add profiles, new profile, drawer item, with email, test, add test, dot test, with the name, test, with icon, or map, see launcher, yeah. With saved instance, saved instance state, with other background, R drawable, IC launcher background, and with selection list, never for single profile, false. Build, and this will build the account header. So new drawer builder with activity this, wait, sorry, with toolbar. Hide saved instance. Saved instance state. True. With sticky door items, with stocky items that we define, with account header that receives header, with on drawer, item click listener, on item click, build. Okay, we will need to create this. Well, let's just change here. Okay, and return false. That's just that. Okay, and for the setup we have everything. So this will provide us in here to have a side menu. We can try it. Okay, so we have here the title, and here there's a button that if we click, here we are. We have test, we have the email, we have the name, we have the icon, we have the background, have the two sticky items like settings, there's nothing, and if I go on the dark theme, it stops working. No, it's just a wait because it's processing on the emulator. But yeah, you can see that the colors changed. It's a different layout. So yeah, and we got back. Probably that appears there. No, okay. So this is the navigation, the setup navigation. So what we can do now is work on the add notes. So when we click here, so when we click on the button, there's a listener that calls this function, but this function has not been made. So let's work here. For that, what we do is we start an activity, we add new intent, this, and now the class in which we will edit the note or write the note, activity and class. Now the point is there's no class yet, and we should not come here and create a class like what we have been doing for this specific scenario. Why is that? Because we want to create an activity, not a class. What is the change here? What is the difference? Is that if you create a class, it's just a class, and if you come here and create empty activity, you not only create the class, but also you create the layout file the layout XML file. So here, edit, note activity, finish, and here we are. Here we are. And there's the class. So if I run now, I'll be able to click the button and go to that new activity. Okay, so we have application running, and if we come here, we come here to another layout. And just want to see if there is anything here. I guess not. So it's a blank activity. We'll go right override, and we will do public void on resume so super on resume okay, so on resume we create here. To load the notes, we will need to get the notes array list that we defined on the top, and now we go to array list, okay, okay. I'm not sure if I can be heard, but yeah. And then we will go for list note list DAO get notes this notes, which is the array list. We add all that we received from the data access object, insert here on the list, and then here we need to work with the adapter that we haven't finished, started building, let's say. Node adapter. And so we will jump from here to there. We create a constructor. Recycler view dot adapter. Nodes adapter node holder. Implement methods. It's all of them. Okay. And here it's not main activity, it's context. And the array list and it's not notes. Okay, we need here a private context. You need here a private array list of notes. We need here a listener that we haven't created yet, but we will. And a boolean to check if there's multiple selection of nodes. I come here, we create an interface, and it's on the callbacks. It doesn't exist yet, and not event listener. And in here we just two things for this interface that later on we will implement. Node click, which is if I click on the node, I will open it to edit, to read it, and if it is on node long click, I'm selecting, and a lot of different things happen because I can, if it is in selection mode, multi-selection mode, I can select others, and the counting number of selected points will increase. So this is it. Okay, here import class, here import class. Awesome. And we need to pass this context is equal to context that has been sent. And this notes is equal to notes, and that's it. Now in here on create view holder, we will get the view by inflating from the context on the node layout, which is the layout that we design. Okay. Here, node layout, parent, and false, and it returns a new node holder. But there's a thing, is that there isn't yet the node holder that we will create fastly So for that, what we need to do is to build the attributes, which is text view, note text, note date, and the checkbox in the public note folder view item view note date equal to item view find view by ID. Note text is an item view. Okay, so if we go up here, okay, okay, and okay. So far here, so good. We can focus on the bind view holder. Final note to get note position. We need to create the get note. Yep. If note different than null, holder note text set text note.get note text holder dot note date set text note utils. We will create here a class of utils. It's a normal thing to do when we want to have methods that are general, that can be used in loads of situations. We'll take care of that in a second. Older item view dot set on click listener new view on click listener. Override public void on click view listener Okay, so here we create a class not on the adapters but on utils, and there it is. And for this class it's linear, it's public static string date from long time. We already talked this in the beginning. Date format new simple date format Okay, and return format new date time. Okay. I'm just pressing Alt Enter to import the classes. And from the utils, it's just that. Now, returning to the adapter, this is on note click, right? But there's more. In case that there's a set on long click listener, it is a long click. If multi-check mode which means if we are selecting multiples, checkbox set visibility, view stays visible. And the holder checkbox set checked. class. I will just copy. Gone. Now we need to get this to correct. Return notes.get position, and in here notes size. Okay, and so we will return here to main activity. So now that we have the adapter, we can come here and adapter set listener. This. Now it doesn't has the set listener, but we can create the method, and it's just about note event listener and this listener equal listener. And here we add this recycler view, set adapter, and we can show empty view based on if there are or not nodes, already existing nodes. For the end of the loading the nodes, it's the possibility to swipe to delete. Okay, and we will attach that to the recycler view. So recycle view, yeah. In here, first we create a method, yeah, and the swipe to delete Okay, for this we need to create a local variable. Not, yeah, but not there. We will want outside, and it will be zero, which means if we swipe for left or for right the node, it will ask if the goal is to delete. That's what we will be doing now. So on move, and I think I just, yeah, that's it. On move, it will return false. On swipe, it will note swipe to delete, and it's the swiped note and the view holder. Okay, and now if it is not null, we can run this. And the private void swipe to delete. Final node, swiped node, and final recycler view holder. New alert dialog builder for the main activity. Let me set the message. Set positive button, delete, new dialog interface on click listener, on click it will delete, and if set negative button, cancel. New dialog interface. Recycler view dot get adapter, notify item change. Notify item change. Yeah. Okay. Now in here, to delete, we already have the tools. So we use the DAO, delete node, swiped node, nodes we remove from the list the swipe node, we notify adapter notify item removed. View holder get adapter position. And then verify if it is to show empty view, like it appears no notes or it appears a list. So we can work and for that, if notes size equals 0, this recycler view set visibility view gone. Otherwise, find view by ID r.id.empty nodes view set visibility view.visible. Else this recycler view set visibility view.visible and find view by ID. And also we will need to see some action settings. So for that we will create here on create options menu, and we will get menu inflator and we will create this menu. So in here we'll go here. We see that we don't have a menu, so create menu source file. It will be menu, the directory name, and menu main. Okay. So we will not want that. We want this, and in here we want to give a context. That is company main activity. Yeah. And we will have to add this to our string file. which is action settings, delete. This is a common practice, because if we want to change the content of a variable, we don't have to go in all the places and try to remember all the places we have written it. We can just come here and just change here, and automatically it will change in the other spots, because the string name is action settings. So yeah, that's it. Here we get decreases the attribute, and we can just okay, the code. Okay, so we already have this. We just need to import class menu, right? And we need to add here another one. Options, item selected, menu item, item, okay. And in here, what we will need is, as we receive the item, we want to get the ID, so we know which we are pressing or selecting. And we will have to create this action settings. Yeah, so now it's correct. Okay, it detects, it's okay. Okay. We also need, as we already created on the interface, the one note click, on note click, and on note long click, we need to add here the implementation. So override public void on note click, add here note. What do we want to happen? Yeah. What do we want to happen? We want an intent that we'll call the activity to edit the node. Okay. We want to pass some info, and to pass info for, between intents, we add this but extra. And start activity edit. Okay, so the edit node activity, what we will have is we'll need access to the text. Okay. We will need to access or to use the DAO. Also, we will create temporarily a node, but that will not provide persistence, so that's why we need the node DAO. Alt enter. Alt enter and alt enter. And import here. First thing is when we long click, we want to be sure that it's checked and it gets checked count equal 1. And as we are doing the first time, so the set listener has not yet been implemented, so we don't know more about it. So this is the first time that we are clicking. Then we set that multi-check mode is true. This we need to add on the node adapter. Now, let's see here. Here what we actually want is this multi-check mode. if multi-check mode for each node, these nodes set checked false, and we notify data set changed. Now in here, okay, so we already have the mode the multi-check mode worked and set it. Now we need to do the set listener. Okay, in here checked count plus plus, and else just checked count minus minus. If checked count minor to 1, it will, okay, we need here a new class. So for this we will make action model callback. It will be an abstract class that implements action mode callback. And for this we will have action mode, action, menu item, to count how many selected have we picked. Now uncreate action mode. This action mode will get the menu inflator. Okay, we will have to create this in just a second. We'll need to create this and we already have the snippet. So this will enable us to count, this will enable us to share, and this will enable us to delete. We need to create here some things. So another vector image, share. So we pick this one, next, finish, it's done, and now we will add the trash bin, delete. Okay, so all good. So in strings we will need to, here we will need to share notes and delete multiple notes. Okay, so in here it gets, and in here it's all good. We see here the images and the text, and yeah. So this action, well, action mode, this count item will get the action checked count, okay. This share item we will attribute action share note. Okay, and we will return true. This, okay. There's another, yeah. Okay, so we have this onCreate action mode. Now we need 3 methods that we will use. One is to call an action and get it. So it's okay. Then we need to share to change the share item visible. So change share item visible, boolean b, and share item dot side visible. Also, we need to be able to count discount item, set title, yeah, that's it. And that's it for the modal callback. Now, if we get here, what we need to add is we will call the action mode callback change share, but we'll just do here one thing. Okay. I think I need we will change share item to false, and I just need to copy this. Yeah, true. Wait. Okay. Now, if equals to 0, what we want is to get the action and finish it. Despite that, we want to decide so this will show how many so this will show how many have been selected and how many there are. And now we can call the adapter and notify that it changed. And that's it. Okay. Now, what we want is to attribute the so here we call main is on action item clicked, so this other two will not be necessary to change. In here, we will add, if the menu item get item ID, we will call action delete nodes to do the on delete multi-node. Else, if menu item get item ID, it's equal to action share button, action share node on share node. And here the action mode we will call finish. Exactly, yeah. Now we need to implement those two, but before that I just want to end this method here. We will start action mode by passing the callback. And again, it will receive that. Yeah. So in here, we will have the share and the delete node. We will start from the share. It's more straightforward. We'll get the adapter, get checked nodes, and we need to implement this method in the node adapter. So it's a list of nodes, and here check nodes, new array list, these nodes, check nodes, and that's it. And it's without the error. Now, here, share, new intent, here the action will be send. Share set type text plain. I will use the utils again to translate the date and we can do here a bit of promotion when we are sending, like written at my from my iPhone or something. We can do the same here. We share, put extra. Extra text. Let's see. Okay. And note text. Okay. And we start the activity. By passing intent. Okay. All good. Here it's a typo. So on share instead of being a note, like on share we get all checked notes, but we select the first that was selected. If we have multiple selected, in here we will see if the size is different. 0. Okay. And for each node we will use the DAO to delete the node. First, we could use also here streams. Second, we could use the delete by note by ID, but it's not necessary in here. Then we load notes. We can present a text saying that they are already deleted. So they are already, I mean, they were deleted successfully. Okay. Okay. And the deleted is just this. Is another method that is when it is finished, the action mode. What it does is tells the adapter to check to false. Also adapter set listener this and provide the visibility for the button. In edit node we already have no layout. Yeah, so we will start by there. We'll use a relative layout and it's all good. We will still need a toolbar and here we need the ID. Edit, note, activity, toolbar. Okay. Here we will align parent top. The background of the toolbar will be the min height okay, and the Android theme will be action bar theme. Okay, edit text, and it will be below the toolbar. Edit note activity toolbar. Android ID. Yep. Yep. All good. Input note. Layout gravity. EMS 10. The hint will be what are you thinking? Gravity top. Android padding. Start. Yeah. And tools, just for us to have a glimpse how the text will stay. We can use this. Random. Yeah, we can see how it will appear. And that's it in the layout or the edit. The first thing we need to do here is to share the preferences. And the context is mode private. Theme key. Type theme. here we will need also the toolbar. Set support action bar, toolbar. Yep. Android X dot app compat widget toolbar. Yeah, this is very important. This is why we need that thing in the Gradle and so on. Otherwise it will give conflicts and not run. Okay, so we have the toolbar. We'll ask for input node, find view by ID, or ID input node. We'll call it DAO to get the instance of the database, and we will provide this, and then nodes DAO, which is that abstract variable that we have inside a class, so we can access, so we can use the DAO, let's say. Extras, if different, null. Okay, get int node extra key temp options menu. So in here we will have the saving icon. We'll get a new inflator, inflate on the layout, the edit node menu. And we will return sidebar on create options menu. So here we need to create a new resource that is added node menu. and it will be this. And in here it will be this. Okay, and it's done. So we write here and then we click save, and it saves the note. But we need to be able to select it. So we'll override again. On options, item selected, menu item, and ID, item.get item ID. Save note. On save note, here we will create this method. Super on options, item selected, item. What we need here is to import the class, and now we need to create the method. Exactly. So here we get a string text input node that gets text. If text is empty, we will add the date. We'll get time. And if temp equals null, so temp equal new node with text and date. So this is in case the node is empty, and we will insert the node with the object node. Else temp set node text date. It means that it has content, so yeah. And in here we update the node, because our goal is to add it to when we create, when there's no node yet. But also when there's already a node and we want to update it, to edit it. So all good. and in here we can finish. So if we write here another note, we can, okay, you see? And when I click here, delete, it deletes all of them. So yeah, it's working. Now, in terms of an application, sometimes it's good to have a splash screen just to display the name, because when a person is opening the app, and if it is a brand new app entering in the market, it's important to be recognized, to share, let's say. And one thing that we can do is the splash screen. So when we open, other people will see, oh, it's opening a specific app. So what we will do now is to set up the splash screen. And for that, what we need to do is we come here, we will create another empty activity. We will make it a launcher activity. It is important, so it starts from a specific one. Splash screen activity. Okay. Finish. Now we need to do one thing here on the Android manifest, because now we have two launchers and we don't want that. So we take that. Yeah. Now we go to splash screen, and for the splash screen, it's just a bit of code that we need to do. We will come here and add wait and go to main activity. And we create here the methods. So new handler, looper, get main looper, post delayed. Okay. Yep. Post delayed. New. Oops, I'm forgetting here one thing. That's why it's not showing. Runnable. And in here, what we will want is to intent. So it will jump to the intent splash screen from this to main activity class. Okay. Start activity. Main intent. We will add here the import class, and finish. it will be 3 seconds. Now, one also important thing that we can do is in here, once we have the login, when we have login and sign up, we can check if there's a token in the app, and if it is valid. And if it is valid, instead of going, okay, if it is valid, it goes to the main activity. But if it is not, it will return to the login and sign up page, so the person can log in or sign up. And then from that login or sign up, it will go to the main activity. Because, for example, we are building this. It's a local app, so it's on the local database that exists on the device. But if we want to make the next version of it, the evolution would be to have a web API, and even to have a web app in which I can add notes, because, for example, some type of notes can be easier to use on the PC and others on the phone. And, for example, this is a value added for the customer, because it's not so much time on the phone, because the phone has lots of triggers to capture attention. So if we improve that, if we help the user on that, we can provide through a web app perspective to see all the notes that he has, and, for example, links and so on. He just goes there and copy paste and sees the content that wants to see, or sees the list that wants to do, and so on. So these are just ideas that can be worked after. So in here, what we need to do is the splash screen. And for this, what we need to do is to come here, resource manager, and we will add and import a drawable. Yep. Next, import, and in here we'll add Android background. It is here. Background. Drawable. Layer notes. And see how beautiful it is, right? By the way, I did this on Canvas and so on. And yeah, it's important to see that it's the only way to put a PNG inside. You don't go to project and try to copy paste there. You go to resource manager and you import drawables. Okay, this is very important. And that's it. So if we run the app, you see we have the splash screen, and then it goes to the notes, and it's very smooth, very pretty. I get motivated on this part, so I hope you feel joy on this, because it's effort you took to follow up the course. So be grateful for yourself, for the effort you're putting, despite the situation. If you're looking for a job or complementing your skill set, it's always good to be grateful for improving ourselves. So, last but not least, what I want to add to end this course is obviously the icon. So we have a splash screen, we have all this very neaty, pretty, and so on, but we need an icon. So how we do that? This is a bit tricky. we will need to go here and open on Explorer. Yeah, Explorer. And I have here the IC launchers that I've created based on this logo. And let me try to reach that folder. Okay. So what we want to do we will come here, I'll put this here, put this here, and now we have all these MIP maps. We have all these MIP maps. What we will do is we will delete all of this, okay? And we will select all of this, wait for it to delete. 1 second, okay. And we will paste it here. And okay, now it's all good in here. I'm just trying to see if there is anything missing, but I guess not. Yeah, so I will try to run it. Probably there will be some errors because we may need to adapt the name. For example, normally it comes IC underscore launcher underscore round, and in here we just have IC launcher, so no round. But I've been changing previously some points, but yeah, still has errors, you see. So one key thing, this seems the Android manifest, but this is not the Android manifest. This is a build version. It says debug Android manifest. You don't change this because it doesn't affect none of your code. You come here and you see, okay, round icon. No, we don't want this. We want the launcher. And if we come here, the IC launcher, this is our icon. Super pretty, right? Okay, so we run this and hopefully it will all go smooth. Now, okay. It opens, it shows the splash screen, beautiful, and it enters the notes, and we can play around. Here we have the icon because we use the launcher for it. Here we can later on, when we have an API and when we have users and so on, we can put here the username, the email. Also we can add here submenus like categories, so the notes are organized in a specific way. Also we can, in terms of monetization, add here add mob ads, for example. Here a bottom bar, I don't know the name that they use, but it's a bar here to display ads, or put an interstitial ad monetizing through that perspective. And after all of this, it's to publish on the App Store. So that will be for another course that I've been working on. So far, this is it for this one. It will be. It was a long journey. I thank you for being here, joining me, learning all this stuff, and I'm really proud of you to have achieved this, because now if you're aware, you have expanded your skill set, and you know more things on how to work, how to develop better certain things, how to work with Android. And even if you don't fully understood everything, you can always get back here. Also, you can check the project on GitHub, and you can use some code that you need for some features and so on. It's about learning and growing and improving. So thank you all, and let me know in the comments below what you enjoyed, what you want to see as tutorials or courses. My idea is to make an integration with a web API, build a web API, and so on. So let me know if you're interested. And yeah, have a great day. Keep it up. Bye bye.